All right, y'all. Haro from Greenville, South Carolina here. Been mulling this one over for a little while, but if you are an unrepresented buyer and or seller, I just have a couple of stories to tell you. First of all, if you're an unrepresented seller, that means you are for sale by owner, which is, if you can do it, I love it. Good for you. It's an opportunity to frankly, just make the money that you would have paid somebody. So if you have specialized knowledge or skills and that makes you, and frankly, the time to pursue that, that's great. Do it. However, I just had a seller. We did come to terms on an agreement to list their property, so we'll be listing that soon. But they had it on the market for sale by owner for some time, and they had gotten an offer. Now, what does that mean? Because when they said they got an offer, of course, in my mind, there are specific things that need to happen to have an offer. Those things did not happen for this person, and they got engaged in going back and forth with somebody, and they showed me all the terms that this person had submitted, and it was this super complicated, somewhat owner financing, some cash, super complicated situation. And I just said, we actually have an a la carte option where we can help negotiate something and then put it together and basically take care of the transaction from contract to close. So we do offer that. However, in this case, I said, I can handle the negotiation, but I said, man, this is so complicated. And I think what seems to be the case with this unrepresented buyer pursuing an unrepresented seller is that they actually do have some specialized knowledge. And it sounded like an investor. It sounded like they were trying to wrap up the deal and then go get financing instead of having financing up front. So it's not really the best good faith negotiation, but as an unrepresented seller, they didn't know what forms this should be on. They didn't know what questions they should be asking. And so you get this situation where you're going back and forth. And basically the seller was like, you guys are worth what you're paid because I don't want to deal with all of this. And they had just become exasperated after going back and forth with this person for it. Ended up being a couple weeks. And this person seems to have disappeared now that they said, hey, we are listing it and it's going to be on the market. This person has gone quiet. So there is a certain amount of, and I've seen the classes and the coursework where investors get taught to look for, and then, for lack of a better term, take advantage of people that don't have representation. So don't let that be yourself. It's tempting because you're like, I could save all this money. Being unrepresented, it's kind of like, could you cut your own hair? Yeah, you could. Would it look good? I don't know. And you might have that specialized knowledge and skill. That might be you. Or let's just not talk about you. Let's talk about me. Could I figure out how to change the oil in my car? I could. It would probably mean multiple YouTube videos watched over and over again, and then trying to find the specialized equipment and then the specialized knowledge. I'd probably have to run back and forth to Advanced Auto Parts 2 or 3 times, and I would just rather hire the person to do it because I'm good at what I do. Let them be good at what they do and then pay for it. I mean, we believe in this concept already. Like none of us, very few of us, I would argue that it's less than 1%, make our own clothing. We buy someone else's clothing because they have the specialized knowledge and skills and can do it cheaper and faster than we can. And we buy their products. That's what we do. So, and then on the unrepresented buyer side, let's talk about that. I love this one. We recently had a listing come to market, and an unrepresented buyer came and they said, well, we will strike. You don't have to pay the buyer agent commission because we're going to bring you an offer and we're not going to have any representation. Okay. And so then we went back and forth on this negotiation, and they were just, they don't know what they don't know. They don't know what they're dealing with. They don't know the market and the agents in the market. And meanwhile, so they were dilly-dallying back and forth. And meanwhile, because one of the things that that's not important. Meanwhile, another offer came in. And at first, we saw this offer and we said, wow, this is not even as high as that unrepresented buyer agent's offer. And we were able to, that unrepresented buyer's offer. And then we were able to talk to the agent, explain the situation, and those people immediately revised their offer, got a close to asking price number, and we put the property under contract. Meanwhile, the unrepresented consumer buyer is just dilly-dallying, trying to get a deal, trying to figure out, and they didn't get a deal. They didn't get the house, any of that. So I've seen this happen a lot. These are just a few stories. Be unrepresented if you want. And you can feel free to comment below. You might be the person that has the requisite skill and knowledge to do it and pull it off. And to you, I say kudos. To everyone else, I'm like, man, go get an agent. Go get someone that's going to fight on your behalf and knows the landscape so they know what questions to ask and what things to do. Because otherwise, it's going to be, you risk having a mess that you can't handle. So those are my thoughts. Have a good day.